Okay, for those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Forrest, and it's quest time. Before we get going, I'm going to ask everybody if you can stay clear of this raised up stage area here. This way nobody blocks the display, and it gives me a little bit of room to move around, do the whole presentation type thing, right? Now, if I can direct your attention to the menu wheel in your lower right there, you're going to notice a microphone icon. It kind of looks like this right here, right? When that is clear, that means we're going to hear everything that's happening in your environment. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it to red. I see it's already been done. Thanks, guys. Now that that's red, that basically means that you're muted and we can hear what's happening in your environment. So if somebody comes into your space and says, hey, are you still on that thing? Feel free to answer them because we're not going to hear that. If you have a dog maybe that starts barking in the background, right, you're not going to face social ruin back at the campfire by becoming known as the avatar that suddenly started barking during its quest time, right? But just because you're muted doesn't mean you can't express yourself. You can and should use this pink cheek smiley emoji that you see in your menu wheel there. When you press on that, your emoji panel opens up in front of you, gives you a lot, see all of you are familiar with this already, it gives you a lot of options to express yourself, right? If I say something deep and powerful and share something really meaningful, you feel it building up inside, you just let it out, let it flow, right? Maybe I got some dancers backstage, maybe they come out, right? We break into Quest Time, the musical, and you're all very impressed. You can throw up those applause that I live for. I can take a minute to drink that all in because it feels good, right? If I ask you guys a yes or no question, you could say yes by smiling. You could say no by frowning. Or if maybe I say something funny, you feel like showing me you're laughing, you can throw up this little like silly face emoji here to indicate laughter. And then there's this. This is not how we ask a question. This is how you alert me that something's gone wrong. If I'm moving my hand around like this and it looks like I'm really into it and I'm having a good time and you don't want to disturb me because you don't hear any sound, because all of a sudden my voice stopped, right? That's the kind of thing you're going to do, right? Or maybe this display here suddenly bursts into flames. Don't laugh. That happened once, right? Moderator sometimes, right? They're very helpful, but I used to give them Terraformer, for special effects and stuff. And I don't do it anymore because that's why. They tried to burn down the set during the performance, right? It happened. All right, so now I tell everybody that if my stage, should suddenly burst into flames, let me know about it, guys. That's the kind of thing I want to know because this thing went on for like 2 or 3 minutes before anyone thought to tell me. Okay, all right, so we're good on that? All right, cool. All right, now you will notice that there is an X in the middle of the emoji panel. When you press this X, it's going to close, right? But you want to keep it open during events like this. It's a great way to give me feedback, lets me know how I'm doing, but more importantly, it lets the people around you know what you're experiencing, right? So the person next to you starts going like this, they think something going on is funny, right? You may not agree. You might be like, that's not funny at all. I'm going to stand over there. And you can do that because, it's VR, right? All right. Now, Quest Time is an event for Oculus Quest users, but all are welcome. So if you're on a device, feel free to hang. You might pick up some useful information that helps the growing Quest community and all of Altspace because we're getting new Quest users in here all the time. And while we have the emoji panels open, I'm going to ask you some questions to see how we can proceed. How many of you were here for the first time? Let me see some smile face if you're here for the first time. Anybody here? It's first time here? Oh, wow. All right, cool. How many of you are actually on a quest right now? Let me see some hearts if you're on a quest. Show up some love for that quest. That's a lot of you. Good. Okay. How many of you are coming from an Oculus Go to the quest? Let me see some smiley faces if you're upgrading from a Go to a quest. A few of you. All right, cool. How many of you are not on the quest right now, but you're thinking about getting one? Let me see some hearts if that's the case. Anybody? Okay. Anybody? All right. I'm particularly looking at you, Humber. No pressure. Okay, cool. All right, so, all right. Okay, so give me some idea how to head out from here. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. All right, now, when I first got my Quest, I was coming from an Oculus Go, right? And as you know, that's like a one-handed controller. So when I was in Altspace, I was very focused on getting that left hand because I saw everybody moving around with 2 hands. I wanted to know what that would be like. Plus, I grew up in Brooklyn, so I'm used to talking with my hands an awful lot. I'll be moving my hands around all the time like that. And I felt in Altspace because I was going with one hand and I wasn't expressing myself as fully as I could. So I was, very eager to get this, get these controllers in my hands. And once I did, I realized these are so much more than your hands, right? They're also your feet. They're how you move around in the environment, how you interact with the environment, stuff like that. And honestly, when you first get your controllers, the very first time you get them, right? You look and you're like, That is a lot of buttons. So what I like to do here is, because, you know, you got different experience levels. Some people, you've been on a Quest a while, some of you are brand new. I want to make sure everyone's familiar with it, but I'm going to try to do it in a way that's fun, all right? This way we can help people skill up, and those of you who already know what you're doing, you can kind of show off a little bit, right? We're going to move around. It's going to feel good. It's going to be a good time. All right. Now, what we're going to talk about first, we're going to go over is on the right controller and the left controller, you've got these grip buttons here on the side, right? You squeeze with your middle finger there, right? And when you press on this, you can interact with objects in your environment, like basketballs, you know, the fireworks. And in the World Editor, right, when you're using the World Editor, when you squeeze something in the World Editor and you grab it if you're in the beta program, the beta build program, you're going to notice it changes the behavior of this right thumbstick. Because listen, if you're here today, you already know some basics, right? Because you showed up. You know, so you know the left thumbstick's going to move around like this. The right thumbstick's going to move you in these circles like that. And if you combine them, you can get these big, wide, elaborate circles that make my presentation so much more dramatic. Can everybody do this for me? Give me a big, wide circle like this. Because when I look out in the audience, it looks like everybody's ballroom dancing. I want to see what that looks like. All right? Yeah, for me, oh, that's nice. Oh, wow, you guys are very elegant today. That's very fancy. Oh, wish I got a tuxedo or something for this. This is really cool. All right. Oh, wow. And I always say, I wish you guys could see what this looks like. When I look out in the audience, I see that, and now you can, because like as I mentioned earlier, we got Raven and I up there filming for us. So, you know, this is going out on YouTube. So if you want, everybody, right, turn around and wave up to that camera and be like, hey, YouTube, how's it going? You know who we got here? We got JFZ, that's hard to say, 911. We got Glenn over here. We got Shiraz DM. And then we got over here, we got Cole. Cole, wave to the camera. Don't wave at me. Wave to the camera. You're going to be Altspace famous. Come on, Cole. This is your moment. Don't fail. You're facing the wrong way. Oh, getting high fives. There we go. Hey, YouTube. How's it going? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us, YouTube. All right. So let's see. Where was I? Okay. So now also you're going to notice where I ran down off page like that. You're going to notice, right, that you have on the left trigger button right here. This is going to cause you to speed up. So if you're walking along and you hold down that left trigger button, you're going to speed up. And I'm going to go out in the audience, run around here. So my hand going up here. We are taking questions at the end. We're not taking them right now. Okay. So hang on to that. All right. Now, what else do we have here? We have also, listen, some of these buttons, right, it seems like a lot, right? But some of these buttons actually do the same thing. You're going to notice that on your right controller, right, this select button here, this right trigger button here, and this left select button, if you have your left pointer enabled, they all do the same thing, right? That's how I know everybody's name so quickly, right? It's not because I'm psychic. It's because if I hold down one of these buttons and I move my hand through the audience, I can see that this is Cole. I can see that this is JFZ911. I said it better that time. We got the Bill Maher. You've got Min Amato. I hope I'm saying that right. You got Birdia. You got Hummingbird. You got Dan over here in the corner helping us out, right? And basically, you can just wave your hand through the audience and see all those name tags pop up above everybody's head. It's kind of cool, right? And makes things a little bit easier, right? And plus, you know, it's 3 buttons that do the same thing. So you guys are already getting a big handle on this, right? Now, another thing that you have, it's important to keep in mind, is this flat button on your left controller, right? This flat button on your left controller, what that does, right, is that if you're having a room scale experience, right, and you walk out past your main menu and you got the main menu behind you, you know what's going to happen? It always happens that way. Somebody in Altspace is going to say, hey, open your main menu. And you're going to be like, where is this thing? And you're going to look around for it. And then it's always going to be right behind you. And you're like, this happens every time. That can be pretty annoying real fast. But it's important to remember that on your Quest, you have your main menu button in your hand at all times. It's some handy information, right? You press that flat button and it opens up your main menu. If you press it again, it closes your main menu. I'll be very honest with you guys. I haven't touched that big blue button that they always tell you to press to open your main menu. I haven't touched that thing in months, right? Because I'm on a Quest now. All I have to do is press that flat button on my left controller and boom, menu. I flick my hand out like this with a little flourish. Boom, my menu's closed. Boom, my menu's open. Boom, it's closed again. Just like that. Pretty easy to do. And it's a good way to do things. Left pointer right here. All right, cool. Now, another thing you got to keep in mind is that on both controllers, you have your teleport button here and here, right? And I hope you're in a line dash teleport transition. That's a lot of fun. It makes you feel like you're flinging yourself across the room. It feels like a zip line, right? And if everybody comes up along this wall here, forms up along this wall, right? If you aim it at the ground, you're going to see a white or a bluish circle appear on the ground as your target, right? And if you aim it across the room with your right controller, holding down that teleport button, right? As soon as you let go, bam, you get thrown right across the room, just like that. You know, everyone teleport on over to me. Try that out. Just come on over to this side. Just want to zip on over here. Okay, or not. That's cool too. You don't have to. Or you can press that. Now, if you press that left teleport button down, right, you're holding down on that left teleport button, you see that circle appear on the ground, and you hold it across the room by that wall. As soon as you let go, bam, you get taken right across the room. You know, another cool thing you can do, right, is if you come up and you face the stage here, right, and you start moving backwards on your controller, and then you aim at the ground, right, you can kind of keep going, every time you keep teleporting to the ground. It's kind of like the Altspace moonwalk like that. And if you hold down your left trigger button, you can do it really fast like this. And show everybody you know what you're doing. You got the skills, right? Yeah, just like that. Everybody, just go like that, doing that whole moonwalk thing. Look at it. Everyone's doing it. That's cool. Another cool thing you can do, right, is if you hold down both teleport buttons at once and you make an X on the floor, right? If you let go at the same time, zigzag, just like that, right? I was in front of two people at once right then. I got the fancy moves, right? All right. So the first time I tried this, actually, I was at the Universe, and back then they had it like in a big world, right? And, when it was over, I went exploring the world, looking around, and I walked right up to the edge of the world, right? And I'm looking over the edge, and I went a little bit too far, and I fell off, and I started falling. And as I'm falling, I look over, and I see that there's this cliff there, right? And I hold out my hand, right? And I hold down that teleport button, I aim at that cliff, and boom, right? I was right in there. I was teleported to safety before I could reach one. It's not like you're really going to get hurt or anything. You're just going to respawn. I managed to dodge it. And in that moment, I knew I was finally getting used to these controllers. There will come a time, you're always going to feel the plastic in your hands. There's going to come a time where these feel like your real hands, right? You're not going to be like worried about, what buttons you're pushing. Everything's going to be automatic. Like if I say, hey guys, look out that window right there, right? I'm not thinking about how I'm pointing. I'm just doing it. And the way you do this, if you don't know it, squeeze down your middle finger on the grip button. Now you're pointing, right? Just like this, right? Or maybe I'm threatening the audience. You better be a good audience, see? Right? Now if I hold down my my left grip button right there, you give me a Brooklyn hello, just like that, right? Or you can maybe put them up together, give me the Altspace logo, show some Altspace love, right? Or you can twist it around like this, make a camera type picture there, take a picture and remember this moment forever. You can squeeze that index finger, get the little clicker action going on like that. If you squeeze both your trigger buttons, right, give me 2 thumbs up. Maybe I'm doing a good job up here, give me 2 thumbs down. Maybe you're confused about it. Maybe you haven't made up your mind. Maybe you don't know it. Go like this, right? Actually, a couple of weeks ago, somebody did this. That was pretty cool. I like that. One of the first quest times somebody came up to the stage and they came up doing like this. And you see, this is how you pick stuff up, right? And you see somebody doing a gesture that you like, all you have to do is mirror them. And by copying each other, that's how you're going to really pick up a lot of these gestures. And it becomes automatic after a while. It takes a few days to like a week or so to get used to everything, but you will pick it up. There will come a time where you don't think about these buttons anymore. Right? There's one more button that you're going to have to worry about that's really important. Right? And don't press this now, because if you do, you're going to disappear and I'm going to feel it. All right? I will. Down deep. Right? Real low. All right? Now, there's one more that's really important. On your left controller, right? This one that moves you around, this does something else that's pretty important. Maybe one of you to help me out with this. If somebody's willing to, come up a little bit or go down a little bit, one of those, like somebody willing to change your vertical height. There's no question, you got to worry about that. You got to worry about your vertical height. Somebody willing to pop up for me? Somebody willing to pop up or scooch down? Anybody? You are? All right, let's see you do it, Cole. Let's see you kind of lift up a little bit for me. All right, nice. Oh, that's really good. All right, now if you, you got to stay up to demonstrate. Get on back up there. Come on, Cole. All right, now if you press down your left thumbstick, show everybody what happened. Press down that left thumbstick. Show everybody what happens. Boom, just like that. He's recentered. So if you find that you feel too tall or too short, all you have to do is press down on that left thumbstick. Like Cole, press down on that left thumbstick again. Boom, just like that. He popped right up. All right, and then he goes down, press it just like that. So he's constantly recentering himself. So if you feel too tall, too short, you just press down on that left thumbstick, and it'll adjust your vertical height just like that. Now, this other button I was talking about that's going to make you disappear, right? So don't press it, all right? But occasionally you're going to want to leave Altspace in a hurry, all right? Like maybe dinner's ready. That's important, right? So you're going to want to leave Altspace as fast as possible. And the way you're going to do this is you're going to press this flat button on your right controller, right? You got to think of this like your reject button. And when you press it, you're going to be given a choice to quit or to resume. If you press resume, like maybe you're at university, you dance around, right? Feels good. And, you flick your hand like that, and all of a sudden you disappear because you press that button, right? Well, you press resume, you get right back into Altspace before anybody notices. Then you keep on dancing, right? And then nobody knew. Everything's cool. It's all right. But now, we're press quit. We got a portal going up there? Where are we going? I can't read that from here. Okay. Oh, you go in a portal to quest time. Okay, that's kind of circular, all right? Because we're in quest time. That's strange. I'm in the right place. Okay. Generally, it's considered rude to be opening portals, so you don't want to do that during an event. But yeah, this flat button will take you out of Altspace in a hurry, and it's a good button to press when things go wrong. Like let's say you turn your head, right? And the whole world moves with you, right? And as it moves with you, it makes you feel kind of dizzy, it makes you feel kind of sick, right? What can happen is while you're feeling that way, you just press that bottom button on your right controller, and it'll take you right out. You press quit, you restart the app, everything should be okay. But occasionally, there's going to be times when you press this and it doesn't work, right? Occasionally, you're going to press this and nothing's going to happen, right? And you might be feeling sick. You're going to need a way to, to restart your device quickly. A lot of people restart the device when it's off their head. But honestly, listen, if I was like, like if you're like me, when you go to restart your headset and you notice that like, it's not a charge cycle and you go plug it in, there's no light on it, you might think it's broken because it takes a while to restart it, right? So what I did was I came up with a method I'm going to share with you. And this is how I always restart my device. I restart it while it's still on my head. So every time I restart my device, it's when I'm wearing it. And the way I do this is I take my index finger and I swipe it along the side there. And when I feel a bump, raised up bump there, right, I take my other finger and I squeeze it against it. I squeeze them together and I push down on that button, right? And everybody in Altspace, it looks like I'm concentrating very deeply. I'm concentrating so hard that my avatar disappears, right? After about 4 seconds, right, the device turns off and I go into the darkness, but I don't let go. I just hang on. Right? Then about 10 seconds go by and I start wondering, why did Oculus make it take so long? It's a really long time, right? Especially if you're in a rush. 15 seconds go by, I start thinking about old friends I haven't seen in a long time, wonder how they're doing. Think about that dog I had when I was little. It was a good dog, right? And then, after about 20-something seconds, I'm thinking about the meaning of life, exploring the darkness. And all of a sudden I see the Oculus logo emerge and I hear this beep, right? And as soon as I hear the beep, I pull my fingers apart just like that, right? And the device restarts as normal. And this is going to take care of most of the problems that you're going to have in here. But occasionally something serious might happen. Like one time I left Altspace and I saw this message that said Oculus Home is now closing. And there was this message that said, a button that said, okay. It was the only choice they gave me. So I pressed okay. See your hand going up. If you have a question, Penny, we're going to take it at the end, okay? And hold on to that. All right. So, it said Oculus Home is closing. So I pressed okay. And it just said loading. And I waited and waited and waited and nothing happened. So, I restarted my device and it still said loading. Nothing happened. And I was like waiting. I knew something was wrong. So I asked Google about it because, Google knows everything, right? And I asked Google about it and Google says, a lot of people are having this problem. And what you're supposed to do is a factory reset. All right. So I did the factory reset, but it's important to keep in mind that while this will put the device back the way it was when you first got it, you're going to have to re-download all your apps. And if you had any kind of pictures or anything meaningful on your device, like your Beat Saber scores, all that's going away. You're starting all over again. Right? But it's good to know that it's there in case of an emergency. Right? So I like to mention that. All right, now, one of the cool things about the Quest is the Guardian system. If you're here today, you already, you did the tour, you danced with the robot, right? You played with those blimps, it was a lot of fun. So you're familiar with the Guardian system, but you may not be familiar with how to use the Guardian system to your advantage in Altspace. Like before I mentioned, when you turn your head and the whole world moves with you, you feel dizzy. If you're in VR and you feel dizzy, one great way to combat this is if you look at your hand. And when you look at your hand, right, just stare at it, the dizziness passes, and then you take your hand away. Right? That helps a lot. But your Guardian system can help with this too. Right? Now what you do is, now listen, I like to say when you mess around with your Guardian system, be very careful because a lot of times in Altspace you'll see somebody walking along like this and all of a sudden, boom, it's like that, they hit a wall. Right? That's not fun. You don't want to damage, your device. You certainly don't want to hurt yourself. Right? But what you can do is if you walk up to the, I think like you should lead with your hands when you move around the Guardian, right? And when you get up to the edge, you see that grid appear in the air in front of you, right? When you see that grid, you can still move your thumbsticks around. Right? So you can be facing your real world wall, right? And like this, and you've got the grid in front of you, but now you can still move your avatar around in Altspace. And as you move your avatar around, you can go line up that wall with an object like this display. And now that matches my real world wall, right? So now as I move around in Altspace, I've got an anchor to the real world. So if the worst should happen and I fall off the stage, oh no, I'm in the audience. What do I do? So let's say the audience turns on me, right? You guys come at me and try to make me dizzy. Just mess with me. Go ahead. Go ahead. Give me the worst you got. Really, it's doing nothing for me. You guys aren't trying. The last group was way better than you. Way better. Oh, that's good. You're blocking my vision. Excellent. That's pretty good. But you know what? I can still see that display because it's huge, right? Yeah. All right. So as long as I'm looking at that display, I'm not going to get dizzy or thrown off. You see that? I didn't even stop my sentence there, right? But what you can do, right, and it doesn't have to be something big like that. You can say you got a table in your environment or a desk or something like that. You can line it up with the edge of the stage. And this is just going to give you a frame of reference to move around in VR. So this way, if some avatar comes at you suddenly, you'll be more comfortable. It's a good thing to do. Another thing you can do is you can transition from a room scale experience to a stationary experience effortlessly in Altspace, right? What I mean by this is like, let's say, I'm up here and I've been hosting all day. This is my second event I'm hosting today and I'm tired. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up to the edge of my Guardian system, right? And I'm going to make sure I got enough room for my head to go through, right? I'm going to move my head through it. And as soon as the pass-through camera goes off, I'm going to see I got my coffee right here. Sip that. That's the good stuff. And I got my real world shit right there. So I'm going to walk on out there. I can't see any of you right now because I'm in the real world, right? And then I sit down in the chair, right? And I got this blue button to press that, that says, hey, like I'm having a stationary experience. So I press on that blue button, right? And then as VR comes back into view, I find I'm still in Altspace. I never left, right? This works in the other direction too. There was one time that I was moderating an event, and while I was moderating, I got the urge to get up and walk around. So I figured, I'll get up and step into my Guardian, no big deal. But on the Quest, sometimes your Guardian can get lost, and they're going to want you to redraw it. Normally not a big deal. But when there's 2 minutes left in the event, right, and you don't know if you're going to get back in, it becomes a very big deal. And you start painting your Guardian out again, and you're like, oh no, well, of all the times I had a mod for an admin, why did it have to be today, Lauren? And why did I choose today? It's horrible. And I'm redrawing this thing, right? And as soon as that grid closes and it comes back up and I'm back in VR, I find I never left Altspace. I found, all anybody saw when I was in Altspace was my hands frozen out in front of me like this. I did that bit one time and I always pause there, right? And I actually crashed, right? And then, people were in the audience and they're staring and I'm standing completely still like that. And they're like, look at him. He's so dedicated. He's so invested in the role. Look at his range. It's amazing, right? And so, it was a funny bit. I was back in a minute. It was not a big deal, but that can happen, right? And you'll find as soon as that grid comes back up, you're still in Altspace. You've never left. And all anybody sees is that you're having an out-of-avatar experience. Just like when you're in VR, you're kind of having sort of an out-of-body experience because you're here and not there in the real world. All right, so it works in both directions, which is pretty cool. This other thing I'm going to show you, it's not useful, it's just fun. What you can do is if you, you're in the real world there and actually, wait, no, this works for VR. All right, I got that backwards. All right, what you do is if you go up to the edge of your Guardian, right, and you got to make sure you have enough room to stick your head through it, right? As soon as you stick your head through it, the pass-through camera goes off and you see the real world. Try doing this really slowly. And you're going to find there's a sweet spot where you can see both realities at the same time. And it's pretty cool because you can see Altspace avatars in your real world environment. And you'll get a sense of the scale. Like you'll notice that Altspace avatars are about 6 feet tall. And you really don't realize that until you see them in a familiar environment, like your living room or your office or wherever it is, you do your VR from. We had a guy here once that actually did it from the back of his truck. It's a truck driver. And when he took breaks, he'd pull over and he'd go in the back, in the truck there and he'd come right into Altspace. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so you'll see real world avatars in you already see Altspace avatars in your real world environment. Why is it hard to say today? I don't know. All right. One of the great things about the Quest is it just works. Okay. Now, that's not to say that it can't work better, right? There are some accessories that can make it a better experience, like the earbuds, for example. They hang down up the side. Now, I don't know what I look like when I'm in VR, right? But with these things on, I think I look fancy. And I had to wait about a month for mine to arrive. So in that time while I was waiting, I got used to how great the sound was on the Quest. I didn't think it could get better. And I put these things on and I went to the campfire to test it out. And you know what I found? There's a breeze in the campfire. Nobody told me that, right? And I walked over, where the fence was, and I heard all the water rushing, and I didn't know that either. So, as I was going along there, I was like, I found and I started exploring more of Altspace. I realized there's a lot of ambient sounds in Altspace that can make the experience more deep, more immersive. Baldigan, you got a question? We're almost there. Hang on to that for 1 second, okay? We're right there, all right? So, yeah, we'll be taking questions at the end. And you also have, I've heard a lot of people say that the Quest is uncomfortable, right? I got these high cheekbones. I have, the Quest was digging into my forehead when I first got it. And, let me tell you something. Oculus does not advertise enough breaking in period, right? So, I got, I started getting a sore on my forehead from this, right? And I was out, I was in Altspace all the time, and the sore kept getting worse. And I was hosting this event, and I was pointing up the slides here, and I'm telling all the people about all the many things, right? And what happened was I felt this moisture inside my headset. I'm wondering, what is this? But I didn't stop. I kept on going. And Hummingbird, get ready, because I know you hate this part, right? And I'm wondering what this is. And I kept on going because, I'm professional, right? And I came back, I came out of Altspace. My wife comes in the room. She asked me, how was it, right? And, she's supportive like that. So I lift up my headset, right? And I said, well, and before I could even finish, she says, go look in the mirror. And she did it in that voice, when you gotta have to. So I went over, I look in the mirror, and I'm like, what is this? And I had these round circles around my eyes, not like the kind you get from wearing a VR headset, the kind that happens because that sore opened up, actually bled into my headset. I know it's super gross, don't worry, I cleaned it good, right? And I ended up with a cool story. I did. I got to walk around going, Altspace, I bled for you. And that's right, I have to drop my voice down deep. Everybody show me your rage. Hold up your fist like that and go, that's right, Altspace, we bled for you, right? Like that. That's what I would do, right? And, and I would do that whole bit. You furries got your rage? You got your rage? Yeah, show me your rage. There you go. And so what I realized I had to do something about this. And I found a company called VR Cover, and VR Cover makes inserts for your headset, right? One, can fix light bleed. See what I did there, all right? Take care of that. Another one is cloth. That's the one I went with. It comes with two of them actually, and you can clean one while the other one's in use because I suddenly found hygiene to be a very important thing when you're wearing a headset, right? And so while I was waiting for it to arrive, it took about a week to get to my location, and in that week, I learned something. I learned that the oils in your face actually soften the material in a headset, and it'll actually change the balance, right? So it actually gets more comfortable the more you use it. And so if you find that your headset's uncomfortable when you first get it, you may get the urge to modify it. A lot of people will use like external battery packs. They'll use like counterbalance weights and stuff like that, right? You might want to hold off on that a week or two until the headset's broken in, because what'll happen is you'll change the weight of the headset, right? And then the breaking in period happens, and then the weight's thrown off all over again, and you're going to be left with the impression that your headset's uncomfortable, right? And you can, hey, Wasp, how's it going? I see you. What are you doing? All right, cool. All right. If you're waiting for your questions, hang on, we're almost there. All right. Now you also have these protective lenses, right? That you can have, that'll protect your headset and your glasses if you wear them. You also have this travel case that's really great because it can protect your headset. Listen, if something happens to your headset and you used to coming into VR a lot and you've made a lot of relationships and something happens to your headset, it's not like losing your toaster. You're going to experience this as a deep, genuine loss. I've seen it happen. All right. It's kind of sad when you see it. All right. So you got to take good care of your equipment. Yeah, very sad. You got to take good care of your equipment, Glenn. And if you want to try any of these products out, we made them easy to find. You can go to altvr.com and you can go where it says channels, and there you're going to see a list of Altspace, event channels. And on the very bottom, right at the end, you're going to see where it says Ravenhole Events, like it says up in that sound booth there, right? And there on that page, you'll see, these products listed out for your convenience. You just follow those links if you want to try any of them out. You also see a join Discord button if you want to help us put on events, like this, if you're super eager like Jackson here. And, you'll also find the most important button on the internet, the subscribe button. It lets Altspace know how we're doing. It lets Altspace know that you enjoy our content. And, we don't get paid to do this. So, it's a great way to say thank you. It makes us feel good whenever that number goes up. So you can press the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. All right. Yeah. It's sad. It's sad, Cole. It's not that sad. It's a good thing. All right. Now we are going to be taking your questions, so you're all eager to do that. If you have any comments or anything like that, or maybe you've tried some equipment that I haven't mentioned here, we're going to open up the floor for that. So I'm going to make a raise hand button appear as if by magic on your lower right. If you want to get on the list, all you have to do is press that raise hand button, and we'll be able to take your questions as they come in. While we're waiting for to fill that up there, if you are on Twitter and you want to follow us, you can find us at _ Uncanny Valley. I know it looks like one underscore, but it is actually two. All right, let's see. I see the hand popping. Wow, you're eager. I'll take yours first. All right, let's see. What is the emergency here? Actually, you're not even on the list, Baldigan. You have to press that raise hand button in your lower right. It's the one right over on your right-hand side, right on the bottom there. Press that. All right, let's see. Who else do we have here while we're waiting? We have Cole. Cole, you have a question? What's going on, Cole? Cole, you're on the air. No, apparently not. Okay, let's see. Let's see here. Cole, you with us? Okay, not happening. All right, how about, they all disappeared now. Okay, everybody's gone off. That can happen sometimes. We're gonna wait for a second. There we go. They're back now. Not working too well today. We got Wasp. Wasp, what's going on?
Hi, okay, I'm back.
All right, what's up? What's up, Cole?
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Okay, that's all right. Hold on to that, Cole.
What's
Wasp,
with
you
those
have a question?
scary omens behind us?
Wait, what did you say? Wasp, what's going on?
Omens behind us? I'm terrified.
You're terrified? That's our camera. That's how we go out on YouTube. We covered that earlier. You must have come late, right? Raven Eye is our camera, and Fury is one of our moderators. Nothing to be afraid of. They'll keep making sure you guys have a good, pleasant experience. But if you want to wave out to YouTube and say hello, we can do that a bit again. Hey, YouTube, how's it going? Everybody wave to the camera. There we go. See, that's not scary at all.
I'm on TV.
Altspace famous. Yes, you are. You are actually on, well, I don't know if it's TV, but it's kind of like that, right? YouTube's kind of like television. All right, let's see. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Take that. We also have Christian. Christian, what's up? Yeah, Christian, you went away. There we go. Let's see. What's going on, Christian? Christian? Are you there? Speak to me, Christian. Where are you? There you are. What's going on? Just raise your hand for no reason? Okay, that's cool. All right, cool. No worries. All right, well, some of you asked me earlier what this big red button is for. right? Now, what we're going to do, right, is we like to finish our events at the Ravenhall Flight Academy. We like to teach everybody how to fly, and we've got these ships there that we call Talons that you can fly around, right? They're hovercraft, and they feel like you're flying. So what's going to happen is when I press this big red button, right, you're going to see one of these ships fly by the window, right, and then it's going to go over the trees outside, and it's going to come down back to pick us up to take us there. All right, so I'm going to press this button now. You're going to hear an announcement. Actually, I'm going to unmute everybody because this way, if anyone's impressed, I want to hear all the wows. All right, so everybody's unmuted. So if you want to, call out while this is happening and say it looked cool, I want to hear that. All right, so I'm going to press this button now.
Ravenhall Talon aircraft en route to your position.
There we go. Now, guys, listen, if you've learned anything today, please share we come in contact with us. That's how we help keep this thing going. All right, let's head on outside so we can, pick up our ride. Leave here in style, everybody, and let's get going. Okay, here it comes. Should be coming down now. There it is. Landing down. Awesome. That's great. All right, now a portal's going to pop out of that and take us to the Ravenhall Flight Academy.
Talon aircraft is now boarding outside for transport to the Ravenhall Flight Academy.
All right,
please
everybody,
exit the building and step into the blue light. Thank you.
I hope you see you at the Ravenhall Flight Academy. If not, I'll see you next time. Thanks for coming.